Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video from Homemaker. I hope you all are having a wonderful day today. In our today's video, we are going to talk about Dracaena reflexa. The visually striking foliage and extremely low maintenance features makes this plant a popular house plant. Not only that, Dracaena reflexas are considered to be excellent air purifiers, as suggested in the NASA Clean Air study. Now, Dracaena reflexas, they're really a stunner. They are eye-catcher plants, and they belong to the Propagation family. These plants are actually native to the islands of the Indian Ocean, such as the Madagascar, Mauritius, and Mozambique. There are several varieties of Dracaena reflexa that you can see in the market. And some of them are Dracaena Reflexa Pleomele, which is this one. And it has got this extremely dark green foliage. As you all can see, there's no variegation on these foliage. They are completely green in color. And then is Dracaena Reflexa Song of India, which is this one. Now the foliage of this one has got the border of cream or gold, you can say, with the green midrib. It's not actually midrib, but it's just in the variegation, the middle variegation. And as you can see, these leaves are spirally arranged in the floret shape. So if you look from the top, it looks like a beautiful flower, isn't it? But it's just leaves, not flower. But it looks extremely beautiful, just because of all the arrangement of these leaves and the variegations on these leaves and the bright colors, the gold and the mixture of green. So they look amazing. So this is Dracaena Reflexa Song of India. And there is one more, Dracaena Reflexa Song of Jamaica, which is this one. So this is Dracaena Reflexa Song of Jamaica. And this is different from the one that you saw before. So in Dracaena Reflexa Song of India, the leaves had the border of yellow and gold, and with the green in the middle. And in this one, there's the border of green with the cream and gold in the middle. And these ones are also spirally arranged, beautifully spirally arranged. From the top, it gives you the look of a flower, and their long leaves, spiky from the top. So this one, guys, this is the Song of Jamaica. Extremely beautiful plant, isn't it? So Dracaena reflexas, these plants can reach up to the height of 13 to 16 feet tall. As you can see, this one, it has grown really tall. Look at that. It has grown really tall. So they can grow even up to 19 to 20 feet tall. But if you grow them indoor as a house plant, obviously you need to maintain the shape and the size of your plant so that it looks good in your indoor space. So this plant needs a pruning during the spring season, which is the growing season. So growing season, it grows really big. So during the spring season, you keep on pruning your plant if you want to grow them indoor as a house plant, and they look amazingly beautiful. So by pruning, what will happen is not only you will be able to maintain the shape of your plant, but also by pruning the top of the plant, it will give out the side shoots which will give it a bushier look. So the more bushier, the more beautiful it'll look. So that's why you need to keep on pruning it, as they tend to grow really tall. Alright, and these plants also, just to mention, they also give out flowers during the spring season. And those flowers are small, they are clustered, they are white in color, and they've got a very strong fragrance. The flowers are insignificant, but this fragrance is really strong, which can attract ants and other sorts of pests. So when the flowers are there, just keep an eye on your plant, because the ants might get attracted to it and then they can ruin the beauty of your plant. Now we'll talk about the care of this plant. So regarding the care of this plant, we'll start with the light conditions. So Dracaena Pleomele, which are the green plants that I showed you here, the green ones, the dark green ones, they're quite hardy plants, and even if you place them in direct sunlight, they will not get affected. They'll be still fine. Like you can see, these plants are outside in direct sunlight, and you can see the leaves are quite healthy. There is no signs of any burns or anything, and they're nice and healthy plants. But whereas this one, the Song of India, you can see the signs of leaves that have got sunburnt on them. So the tips of the plant, they get sunburns, they get crisp here, as you can see. So when you are growing them indoor, just make sure that you provide them with the indirect sunlight, and give them filtered light, bright filtered light. The more light you give them, the more bright indirect light you give them, the more growth and health you will see in your plant. But these plants can do really well in extremely low light as well. So if you don't have too much of light coming inside in your house, then don't worry, you can keep them in low light conditions as well. But just to mention that if you want a beautiful growth of your plant and nice and healthy leaves with beautiful bright colors, place them for a couple of hours, maybe in indirect bright light. Maybe you can take your pot outside for some time under the patio or under the shade, so that they can get their dose of filtered light, bright filtered light. Okay, then we'll talk about the temperature conditions. So these plants love to be in a warm temperature, around 18 to 24 degrees Celsius, and they are more tolerant to hot than cold. They don't like to be in cold drafts or anywhere where the temperatures go below 10 degrees Celsius. The plant get really affected. You can see the change of color in the leaves, and the plant growth as well gets stunted if it's placed in a very cold environment. So during the winter season, you might need to bring your plant inside, or you might need to keep your plant where it receives warm air and humid air. They love humidity. So you can also use a humidifier in your house if your in-house humidity is less, or you can mist the leaves of this plant as well. Now talking about the watering conditions. So these plants, they don't like to be in wet feet. Therefore, make sure that the soil is well draining. If you are putting them inside the pot, the soil should be well draining. For that, you can add perlite or coarse sand or pumice to the soil, which allows the excess of the water to seep through, so that your plant is not sitting in that soggy soil. And do not overwater your plant. So the best strategy is to check the soil before you water your plant. If the soil feels dry up to a knuckle, then you water your plant. Otherwise, you can leave it for a couple of more days. These plants can survive the drought conditions as well, but don't let them to go bone dry, because that will affect the growth and beauty of this plant. So just water them regularly, keeping an eye on the soil, and do not overwater. You can water them once in a week during the spring and summer, and you can cut down on watering during the winter season, because these plants really don't like to stay in a very wet soil. Use a diluted liquid fertilizer to fertilize your plant once in a month during the spring and the summer. But during the fall and winter season, you don't really need to water very frequently. Water as well as feed them very frequently, because they're not growing that much. So maybe don't fertilize them during that time. Just spring and the summer season should be fine with any liquid, diluted liquid fertilizer, balanced fertilizer. So I already mentioned about pruning. To maintain the shape, you prune them and they will give out this side shoots, which will give them a bushier look, which will make them look even more beautiful. And the stems that you have pruned, like this one has grown extremely tall, so let's say the stems that you have pruned, you remove the bottom leaves and you stick them in water, and the roots will come out after a month or so, and then you get your one more Dracaena. So this is how you can propagate them through their cuttings. So regarding now the diseases and pests, so these plants are very much susceptible to get mealybugs and spider mites and other sorts of nasty pests. So just keep an eye on your plant. If you see any pest attack, just spray them with any insecticide if you want, or you can use homemade soap solution or neem oil solution, will also help to eradicate all those nasty pests. Okay, and last I would like to talk about some of the problems that you can see, like this one. So if you see the browning on the sides or on the tip of your plant, then that might be due to the dry conditions. If your plant is too dry, or it's in a very hot environment, or the humidity of your room is really low, then you get the tips to dry out and become crispy like this. So just make sure you provide them the water conditions, right water conditions, and the humidity level. Invest in a humidifier, and that will do the trick. That will help in maintaining that humidity levels, so that your plant does not get any of those brown tips and spots on them. So lastly, about the propagation of this plant. So as I told you before, that what you can do is you just take the cutting. So let's say if you want to prune from the top, you take the cutting from anywhere you can take the cutting. Just take a cutting and then you remove the bottom leaves. So let's say if you have taken this cutting, you take at least 4 to 5 inches of a cutting, and then you remove the bottom leaves, leave the top leaves, remove the bottom leaves, and then stick that part into the water. So with water propagation, you'll get the best results. You put it in the water, and then after a month maybe you will see the roots coming out. And when the roots get well developed, you can put your cutting in the soil. So I'll show you one of the propagation cutting that I have done myself, and how the roots have developed. So it's very easy to propagate them. That way you can do it, but I'll make another video to actually demonstrate how to take the cutting, how to remove the leaves, and how long it'll take for the roots to come out. So just let me show you the cuttings that I have rooted out. So friends, these were the cuttings of Dracaena Reflexa Pleomele that I took. This plant, the cuttings of this plant that I took, I can say 3 to 4 weeks ago I took these cuttings, and now you can see that these cuttings have developed the roots here. I'll take out the stems and I'll show you. Here, friends, you can see the roots that have developed in this cutting. So these were the Dracaena Reflexa Pleomele cuttings that I took, and after a month they have developed nice roots, and now they are all ready to go into the soil. So basically what you do, you take the cuttings and then you remove all the leaves that are underneath here. You remove all the leaves, just leave a couple of leaves on the top, 3 to 4 leaves on top, that's it, so that the leaves are able to do photosynthesis for the stem. And stick this end into the water, and that's it. And then you wait and you see the roots to come out. Once the roots are out, you stick them into the soil, and the soil, you'll take the same soil mixture that I told you before, containing perlite in it, compost. You can add peat moss or regular potting mix, should be fine. But add more of the perlite to make sure that the soil does not sit in wet water. Sorry, the roots does not sit in the wet soil. Sorry for that. So guys, this was all about the propagation of these beautiful plants. So it's easy to propagate, it is easy to take care. They can go in low light, they can go without water for a couple of weeks. They can be placed anywhere. They are low fuzz plants, and they are extremely beautiful. I just can't stop looking at the beautiful foliage of this plant. And they work really well when they are indoors. And the best thing about this plant is that they are excellent air purifiers. Extremely excellent air purifiers. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you whenever I get time. And if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And I'll get back to you with another exciting video. Until next time, stay safe and keep gardening. See you. Bye-bye.